Okay, so let's continue with more practice, okay? So we will just follow these 3 steps. Step 1, change to ABCD, okay, general form. Step 2, get the RST. Step 3, find the table value, okay? So we tried this one, we'll start with something easier. So please write down the ABCD for this one, okay? This one is already in the form, okay? So you can just write out the ABCD. A equal, B equal, C equal, D, right? Yeah, if you're not sure, you can write down what the ABCD form should look like and compare, right? A is always in the front, right? And then it's function, right? And then B, X minus C bracket plus D. Okay, this bracket I put in red is like the outside bracket, okay? The one that's after the sign. Okay, so if you found A, B, C, D, please write down, raise your hand. Okay, we'll check these values first. If you got A, B, C, D correct, you're like 50% done, right? Because A, B, C, D affects everything after. Please raise your hand if you think you got the A, B, C, D. Okay, Waylon, what's your A, B, C, D?
I got 2 for A, 1 for B, C for 0, and D for -1.
Okay, anyone else want to, if you got different, want to share yours? Everyone got the same?
I got -1 for B.
-1 for B. Okay, so you can, what you can do is plug those numbers in, right? 2, 1, 0, -1. See if you get the question, right? So you see that in the question inside the bracket you have a negative x. So that negative is like a invisible -1. Okay, so your B should be negative. Okay, B should be -1. So this is the first time we have a negative for the B. Okay, well, later we'll see how it affects your graph. Now let's move on to RST. Okay, so do we have reflection here? Evan, do we have reflection?
No.
How do you know if we have reflection or not?
If that negatives with the A,
Yeah, if negative is with the A, you get reflection over x-axis, right?
yeah,
But here we have a negative where?
the B,
With the x, right? Negative is in the B. B is next to the x. So remember in transformation, if negative is with the x, what will happen?
is over Y-axis.
Yeah, so for this one, okay, this one is a special one here, okay? We have a negative with the x, okay? Negative beside the x. So you would have a reflection over x-axis. This is the first time we have reflection over x-axis. Okay, it's because B is negative. Okay, if A is negative, Then you get reflection over, sorry, I said it wrong, y-axis, right? Okay. Because the negative, if you look at the question, right? This green negative is with the x. Negative with x reflect over y-axis. Before was reflected over x-axis. Okay, if you look at the last question, the -2 is our a, right? A is movable to the y side. It's not beside the x. So that means it's affecting the y. So it'll be reflect over x-axis. This one is reflected over y-axis, right? Make a note, okay? So this is the important part. Other than that, okay, everything else the same. So please write down the RST, okay? Once you got RST, please raise your hand. So each question that I put in the book, okay, it serves a purpose, right? It shows you, okay, what's unique about, there's always something a little bit unique. So when you are doing the homework, right, make sure you check the notes. We don't do too many questions in class, right? But each question, we make sure you understand thoroughly, right? Okay, please raise your hand if you finish your S and T. Okay, CZ, can you tell me your amplitude? 2, very good. Susan, and period?
-2 pi.
Period is always positive, right?
Pi.
Yeah, so remember 2 pi divided by absolute value of -1. So you ignore the negative, okay? It'll be just 2 pi. 2 pi divided by 1. Amplitude and period is length and height. So always positive. Okay, and Jenny, size of space?
Pi over 2.
Yep. 2 pi divided by 4, which simplifies to pi over 2. Okay, Calum, phase shift
Phase shift by 0,
and vertical displacement.
-1.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so we want to get our table now. So look at your summary, right? If you already forgotten, how do we get the x value? How do we get the y value? Okay, I'll let you guys try that by yourself first. Look at the rules, okay? To get the x value, what do we do? To get a y value, what do we do? Okay, total 5 points. This one is a sine graph. Make sure your basic points is for the sine. All right, so if you think you've figured out the table, okay, please raise your hand. So for this one, the phase shift, instead of saying 0, okay, it's better you can just say none. Okay, so there's no phase shift. Okay, Chris. Okay, please raise your hand if you've got the table values. Okay, Marcus, how do we find the x values?
You use the SOS.
Yeah, what else?
Uh, for the X.
Yeah, for the x.
Don't you just use the SOS
That's
pile?
where you copy down. In the summary, did you copy everything?
Yeah.
Can you check? Because that's not what I wrote.
So, start with C
And then,
and then use SOS.
yeah, if it was last week, you use SOS right away, right? But today we have a phase shift. You have to start with C, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so how do we get the x value here?
Start with C.
What's the C here?
0.
Okay, so this one is easier, right? There's no phase shift. And then,
Then it'd be pi over 2.
and then,
Then 2 pi over 2.
what's 2 pi over 2?
Just what do you do? Pi over 2.
2 pi over 2, can you simplify it?
Just pi.
Yeah, and then,
3 pi over 2.
and then,
And 4 pi over 2. Or
that's
no,
it.
2 pi.
Yeah, 2 pi, okay? If possible, you always reduce your fraction. Okay, your
Okay.
C is 0, right? This is your C, and then you keep on adding your size of space. Let's check the y values. Okay, if you already finished table, please raise your hand. Okay, Callum, how do you find the y values?
Times a by x plus d.
by y, not x.
Oh,
We're doing the y values. Did you write it down, Caleb?
yeah, I did.
Right? The y value is times the y times a and then plus d.
Oh, I wrote down x, my bad. So it's 0, 0 times it by 2 minus 1.
Okay, so we are doing sine graph, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So what's the first y?
-1.
And then
1 minus 1 minus 3 and minus 1.
okay, very good. Okay, the basic should be 0, 1, 0, -1, 0. Okay, so you use those ones to get a y. Any questions so far? Is there anyone getting different numbers? Because there is a trap here. I wonder if anyone. Yep.
Question. Shouldn't x be negative because you reflected over y?
Very good. Okay. I hope someone else also found that. Okay. Because this one has a reflection over y-axis. So you think about the original sine graph. Original, okay, the basic. It goes like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? These are the 5 points. Goes 0, 1, 0, -1, 0. Okay, this is basic. Now, because it got reflected over y-axis, this is the y-axis, right? The green line is the y-axis. So it flips over to the left side. So your new point, your new graph should look something like this way. Mirrored. So your graph, instead of heading to the right side, is heading to the left. So because of your reflection, instead of adding the size of space, you need to take your step to the left. Okay, so for this one, you need to subtract pi over 2 instead of adding pi over 2. Okay, this is because you have a negative value for b. Okay, reflect over y-axis. Whenever you have reflection over y-axis, your size of space, you need to do subtracting. Okay, please raise your hand if you understand what's going on here. Okay, what's wrong here? Okay, we need to subtract pi over 2 each time instead. So all the points should have a negative now. You start from 0, you subtract pi over 2, subtract pi over 2, okay? Because you are
Jason,
steps to the left. Yeah, Nick?
can you explain that again?
Okay, so before, we always add size of space, right, Nick?
Yeah.
Yeah, we keep on adding because the points are starting from 0 and then going to the right side. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, because this question, it has a negative x. It has a reflected over y-axis. So instead of moving to the right, it will be moving to the left.
Okay.
Follow so far?
Yes.
Okay, so if we're heading to the left, that means we need to subtract instead of adding.
Okay.
Okay, because you are making the points getting smaller and smaller going to the left. So you only need to do that if you get reflection over y-axis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. How about everyone else? If you understand why we need to subtract, please raise your hand. Okay. Reflection over y-axis, you need to subtract size of space. Okay, instead of adding. Okay, Evan, Justin, and Waylon. So the x values should be subtracting, okay? Starting from 0, because this one has no phase shift, and you subtract power 2, power 2, power 2, power 2, okay? You subtract each time. So now that's our table, right? So we'll draw it out with the proper scale, right? You can go by pi. It's negative. Okay, and then lowest goes down to 3, right? So we go -3 here, -2, -1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so please follow the points and then plot, okay? Draw the graph. After table value, then you can draw the graph, right? When you finish that, please raise your hand. Okay, each question we learn something, okay, something unique. This one has a reflection over y-axis. So we need to subtract SOS. Okay, you can add that in. Subtract SOS. If it's just reflected over x-axis, it doesn't matter, okay? It's always adding SOS. All right, so let's follow the points. We have 0, -1, negative power 2 is 1. Okay, so go up, go down, right? You can see the pattern, and then go down again. To -3 and go back up. Okay, so instead of 0 in the middle, right? It's being shifted, right? You can see the 3 points in the middle is shifted down. You can draw a dashed line, right, through that. These are the green dashed line, dotted line. This is the middle line. It goes through the middle of the graph. Okay, please raise your hand if you finish the graph. Okay. Please raise your hand when you finish the graph. The
Wait,
next one
the-
we are going to do 18. Yeah, questions?
what is the midline for?
The midline, it will be useful later, okay, for the next class. Right now, you can just practice finding where the middle line is, okay? It's just showing that the middle line used to be on x-axis. Now it's being shifted down by 1,
Okay, thank you.
okay? You're welcome. Okay, so same with the previous, right? The middle line, it goes through here. It goes through -1 as well, because your D is -1. So it affects your midline. Okay, but we'll need this, okay, the middle line later after the break, okay? So don't worry too much about this right now. You can just draw it on your graph. Later we'll refer back to here. Okay, next one we're going to look at 18. Okay, 18 looks complicated. And that's the kind of question you might get as well. Okay. So why is it complicated? It has everything, right? It has A, B, C, D, right? Before we had a C equals 0, right? Not too difficult, right? This time we have a lot of stuff there. So our first job is try to turn this into our general form, right? Remember our step 1? You need to figure out A, B, C, D. This one is too messy. Okay, so first thing you can do is you add a bracket here, okay, after sign. So whatever after sign should be together, okay, except the +1, okay, +1 will be for the D, right? But then we need to reorganize whatever that's in that blue bracket. Okay, so we're gonna focus on that. Okay, so the way we are going to rewrite it, 2 is fine. Okay, 2 is our A, right? Now after the 2 pi, right? The 2 pi, you can think of it as 2 pi over 1. So 1 is in the denominator. Okay, the 6 is also in the denominator. If you look at the form that we want to get, okay, compare with the form we want. Sine B, right? X minus C bracket plus D, right? This is the form we want. So you can see that the X minus C, it does not have denominator. Okay, also the X cannot have a negative in front. Okay, you look at the question and look at the form that we want to get. The thing that's extra, right, is the negative and the 6. Those are making it look weird. So what we're going to do first is to pull out the 6. Rewrite it, okay? So instead of keeping the 6 there, we're gonna pull it out and join with the 1 under the 2 pi. So we write it like this, 2 pi over 6. Negative x plus 2. So at least now it looks closer to the form we want. You follow so far? All I did is pull out the 6, okay? Pull out the denominator. Okay, can you raise your hand if you understand up to here? So we don't have a denominator in the under the x, okay? We pull it out, put it together with the 2 pi. Okay, Angela and Eric, any questions so far? Okay, now the next thing we want to deal with is the negative. Right, we still have a negative, but the form that we want, you cannot have a negative with x. So what we need to do is to pull it out as well, factor. Okay, we factor the negative from the little bracket, the smaller bracket, and then make it go to the 2 power over 6. So become 2 sine. Now it will be negative 2 power over 6. Since you factor the negative out, inside become positive x minus 2. Okay, you factor the negative from everything in the bracket. Plus 1. Okay, so now the negative is outside. Okay. First, we pull out the denominator and then we take out the negative. Of course, you can do both at the same time, okay? But I just want to show it clearly what happened. Okay, can you raise your hand if you understand up to here? So that's the form we want to start, okay? If you get a question that is not in the form, you need to rewrite it first. Most of the time, it will be already in ABCD form, okay? I'm just demonstrating that sometimes the form is not ready yet. Okay, so you can write down A, B, C, D. Okay, can you raise your hand if you understand up to here so far? Anyone has questions? Okay, Caleb, do you have any questions? How we get to the form, ABCD form? Okay, so please write down the values for ABCD. This time I'll let you carry out more, okay, by yourself. After you get the ABCD, please write down all the stories. Okay, RST, everything. First, ABCD. Second, the story, right? Third, the table. And then finally, your graph. Okay, once you completed the story, you can raise your hand. Okay, we'll check the story. Okay, we have 10 people already finished the story. Okay, Nick, what's your ABCD?
A, I got 2. B equals negative 2 pi over 6. C equals to 2, and D equals 1.
Yeah, okay, so for this question, the value for C is 2, okay? Even though inside you see x minus 2, but your C, remember, you need to change it to plus 2. Okay, if you finish the story, please raise your hand. Okay, Marcus, do we have reflection?
No.
How do you know?
There's no negative with A or B.
Are you sure?
Oh, and no, B has it.
Yes, okay. B has a negative. So what does that mean?
Is it reflect over Y?
Yes, reflection over y-axis. So just like the last question we did, okay? This one has a reflection over y-axis. So it's going to affect the way you get the x values. Okay? Reflect over y-axis. Okay, Jenny, for the amplitude
2.
and period,
2 pi divided by negative 2, sorry, 2 pi over 6.
yeah, what would that equal?
16 pi over 2 pi.
16 pi over 2 pi. How?
Isn't it 2 pi times 6 over 2 pi?
Yeah,
So 16 pi over 2 pi?
where did you get 16?
2 pi times 6?
2 pi times 6 is 16 pi?
Oh, no, I said 12 pi.
Yeah, before you said 16, right?
No, I said 12.
We did? Okay, maybe I heard wrong. Okay. And what would that equal?
Just 6.
Okay, so 6. Period is 6. And then SOS?
It's 6 divided by 4.
What's that?
3 over 2.
Okay, yeah. So if we want, we can also turn that into decimal, right? What's that in decimal?
1.5.
Yeah, 1.5. 1.5 will be easier to do the size of space, okay, instead of fraction. Okay, so those are the number we can use, right? The 2, the 6, 1.5, reflection over y-axis. Last part. Okay, Eric, Evan, Jocelyn, are you guys done? Translations? Eric? Okay, Eric, what's the translation you have?
It's phase shift of 2 and then vertical displacement of 1, right?
Of 2, vertical displacement of 1. Yeah, okay, very good. So now it's your turn to get a table, okay? Be careful, this one has a reflection over y-axis, right? So I hope you know what to do. So once again, raise your hand if you got the points, okay? So look at how you got 16, okay, question 16, how you get the table. Different rules for X and different rules for Y, okay? The ways to find the points are different. You can look at your summary. Raise your hand, please, after you finish the table. Is there anyone have trouble? How to get the table values? Okay, Callum, can you tell us how to get the X values?
Adding 1.5 from 2.
So you start with 2, right?
Yeah,
And then after that, what do you do?
you add 1.5
Why do you decide to do adding?
because it's positive.
You mean the size of space is positive 1.5?
Yeah.
Okay, this one, you have to think about question 16. Right, in question 16, what's special about that? Look at question 16, I put a star, right?
Oh, it's minus because it's reflects over y.
Yeah, okay, whenever there's a reflection over y-axis, instead of adding size of space, you need to subtract size of space. Okay, only when you have reflection over y-axis. Okay, please remember that. Otherwise, you will just do adding normally. Okay, so what should be the next x value?
Minus 3.5.
You start with 2, right?
Oh, I mean, sorry, no, minus 0.5. I mean, sorry, 0.5.
Okay, yes. And then?
Minus 2.
No. Every step that you take, what do you do?
Minus 0.5.
What's your size of space?
1.5.
Yes. Each
So
time you
minus 1.
Huh?
Oh, next one is minus 1.
Yeah, -1, and then
Minus 2.5. Minus 4.
Yeah. Okay, if there's no reflection over y-axis, then you do adding. Okay. All right, so now for the y values. Jenny, what's your y value?
I got 0, 2, 0, -2, 0.
0, 2, 0, -2, 0. Is it? Is that what you said?
Yep.
How do we find the y value? Can you tell me?
Yeah, it's times each number by a, the original values by
So
a.
times it by what? What number?
2.
Okay, so 2 times y, and then?
Is that it?
No, that's not it. Because that's what we did last week. Today we learned something new, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the rule to get a y? Did you write down in your summary?
No, I didn't.
How come? Oh, okay. You guys got to copy the notes down properly, okay? Look at the summary. Make sure you got it down, okay? What's in the summary? How do we get a y value?
A times y plus b.
Yeah, did you write that down?
I'm writing it down now.
Okay. Double check everything else, okay? Make sure you got everything else as well.
Okay, I have it down.
Yeah, okay, right. So, do you know what to do here?
Yeah, is it 2y plus 1?
Yeah, your 1 is the D, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now can you fix the points again?
1, 3, 1, -1, 1.
Yeah, very good. Okay, because this one has a vertical displacement, which means it will move it up by 1. Okay, vertical displacements of 1. So after you multiply by 2, you still need to add a 1, okay, to make it move. Right, so please plot the points. So this one is a blank scale, right? So you make your own scale. So you look at your tables, right? The biggest value, well, smallest is at -4, so you can do it like -4 here, right? -2, you can design. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then for your y value, you can see the highest is go up to 3. So you can design 1, 2, 3. Try to make it as even as possible, right? Okay, once you finish the graph, please raise your hand. For the homework, remember to take pictures of your notes, okay? I want to check if you copy the notes down properly. First point is at 2, 1. 2, 1 will be here. Point 5, 3. right? So you can see the graph is heading towards left, right? Reflected over y-axis. Negative 1, 1. Negative 2.5 and negative 1 will be here. Negative 4, 1. Okay, please raise your hand after you finish the graph. Okay, so just follow point by point. Make sure you curve the right way, okay? The first ones are open down and then open up. Okay, and then you can draw a middle line. Okay, we'll be using this line in our next class. Okay, this is called a midline. So your homework will be similar to these examples, okay? Find the A, B, C, D, get the story and the table. Okay, if you are done, please raise your hand. And next week, of course, is our winter break, right? So our next class will be, today is our last term, okay, end of the term. So if you have registered for the second term, you'll come back on January the 8th. Okay, let me double check. Should be January the 8th. Yeah, okay. And if you didn't register, then won't see you then, right? Okay. And I'm still missing homework from Claire, Eric, and Jocelyn. Okay, so you guys please stay after class. And Callum, did you fix the mistakes?
Yeah, I fixed the mistakes.
Okay, then I'll see you next week. Okay, so everyone have a great holiday.
Jason.
Okay.
Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Jason.
bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Yeah, Jonathan? Yeah.
Today I can't stay after class
Yeah, because
because like I need to go to do like a volunteer.
I'll say that again.
I need to go to do like a volunteer.
Do a volunteer. Okay, so what do you do with the homework then?
I will finish it.
When can you finish it?
I hope I can finish it by the end of this week.
Can you say again? I can't hear you. Justin?
I hope I can finish it by the end of this week.
End of this week. So tomorrow?
I don't know.
No, you have to give me a timeline. Otherwise, after the winter break, it will still you won't hand it in still.
By the end of Friday.
You mean next Friday? Justin?
Yeah, I'll do it when I have time.
Yeah, you haven't started yet?
Yeah.
Do you have questions how to do it?
No, I just didn't know how to do it.
Okay, how about now?
I can't do it like right now.
No, I mean, do you know how to do it now?
I think so.
Okay, we went over 2 questions today, right? Did you write those down? at the beginning of class, we went over 2 questions in the homework, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Okay, so you say Friday, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll call you on Friday. Okay, if I didn't get the homework, okay?
Okay.
Okay, all right, so
Wait, Jason.
I'll see you
Um,
later, okay? Bye-bye. Yeah, Claire, you have questions?
Oh no, I just forgot to do it because I was busy with school.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what's
I had a
your
lot of tests this week.
Huh?
I had a lot of tests this week.
Yeah, I know. Many people do too. Yeah, end of the term, right?
Yeah.
So when can you hand it in?
I can't. I have to leave at 12:30, but I could finish by today.
Okay, that's great. Right. So I'll check it tomorrow morning then. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Bye bye.
Oh, I could leave.
Yeah, you can leave now. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so remember. Okay. By tonight.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Yeah. Okay, Eric, you're almost done.
Yeah, I'm just finishing it up. Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
No.